Hi everyone. I'm Mumu from Susan's family. Today, I'll teach you how to crochet the chestnut bunny from Retro Dolls. For this electronic tutorial, search for susodiy.com on the website. This toy is divided into the main body, arms, facial features, tail, and decorations. Let's start with the main body. It consists of the legs and the body. The legs are started with a foundation chain. Then, crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the starting chain. After completing the legs, join them to crochet the body. This toy is entirely made using the X-stitch single crochet. In the following steps, we will refer to it simply as single crochet. Now, let's take a look at the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The column for increases and decreases explanation shows the details. It indicates the stitch techniques used for the current round, as well as any increases or decreases. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches. After completing all the stitch techniques for the current round, the stitch techniques used include X stitch single crochet, V single crochet increase, W short needle 1 stitch into 3, and a single crochet decrease, chain and slip stitch. Now, please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Before we start crocheting, let's learn the proper posture for crocheting. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. The starting chain is 5ch, which means the foundation method is a chain stitch. Start with 5 chains. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Hold the hook with your right hand. Make a slip knot. Slightly tighten it. Then crochet 5 chain stitches. The starting chain is now complete. Move on to the first round. R1 is second to last, V, 2x, W, 3x. Second to last means start crocheting from the second to last chain stitch. Find the second to last chain stitch from back to front. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet increase. That is, work 2 single crochets in the same stitch. First, make the first single crochet. Insert the hook into the top half loop of the corresponding chain stitch. Place the hook above the yarn. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through again. 1 X stitch single crochet is completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. Work another single crochet in the same position. Single crochet increase completed. Next is 2x. The number before the stitch symbol indicates how many stitches to work. Here, correspondingly make 2 single crochets at the last chain stitch position. Work 1 single crochet 3 in 1. That is, work 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Single crochet 3 in 1 completed. Now we move to the other side of the starting chain. Insert the hook into the previous stitch's entry position. Correspondingly make 3 single crochets. Pay attention not to hook into the insertion point of the 3 in 1 single crochet. Weave in the starting tail as you work. After completing, check the stitch count. You can count the stitches backward. The total number of stitches for each round is marked in the corresponding chart. I won't mention this again. Finally, at the first single crochet stitch, work 1 slip stitch to join. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Pull through all the loops on the hook. Slip stitch completed. The slip stitch at the end of the round needs to be tightened. This slip stitch is not indicated in the form. When crocheting in rounds, always work 1 slip stitch to join at the end. Trim the excess tail. We will use the side with the clearer texture as the right side. The first round is completed. Move on to the second round. Start with 1 chain stitch as the turning chain for the single crochet. This turning chain is not indicated in the form. When crocheting in rounds, always work a turning chain at the beginning of each round. The turning chain for the single crochet does not count as a stitch. Then, in the first stitch of the previous round, which is the insertion point for the slip stitch, work 1 single crochet increase. Continue picking up stitches and working the corresponding stitch pattern. After completing the last single crochet increase, work a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pay attention, at the end of each round, always join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten. The second round is complete. Move on to the third round. Chain 1 as the turning chain. I'll emphasize this again. At the beginning of each round, start with a turning chain. I won't repeat this in the following instructions. Refer to the chart. The beginning is X, V, times 2. The parentheses indicate a group. Times a few times indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Start with 1 single crochet. Then work 1 single crochet increase. That completes the X, V group. I'll demonstrate this one more time. Start with 1 single crochet. Then work 1 single crochet increase. This is the second time. Continue to follow the chart and crochet the entire round. Finish with a slip stitch. That completes the third round. We will turn the right side with clear texture to the outside. For the following rounds, continue to follow the table and crochet in rounds. Start by making a turning chain. Finish with a slip stitch to secure. Here, I'll use a small sample to explain how to count the rounds. Take a look. A raised texture on the right side indicates 1 round. Count these textures starting from the beginning chain. After completing the last round, break the yarn. Here, I'll use a small sample to demonstrate the method. Work 1 chain stitch to secure. Stretch the loop. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Pull tight. This completes 1 leg. Hook the other leg using the same method. Next, we'll crochet the body. Continue with the 9th round after the legs. First, take out 1 leg. Find the 6th stitch position in the last round. Count to the left from the yarn tail. Insert the hook into the stitch position. Draw the yarn through. Join the yarn complete. Then work a round of single crochets. When you encounter a yarn tail, weave it in as you go. After completing the last stitch position, take out the other leg. Start inserting the hook into the 6th stitch of the last round and crochet single crochets. Make sure the first stitch is tight. Continue all the way to the end, leaving one stitch. When you reach the corresponding position, pick up the last stitch and the left side of the fabric piece, at the side or in the gap. Work one single crochet decrease. Insert the hook into the stitch. Draw the yarn through. One incomplete single crochet is done. Continue picking up the approximate position along the seam. Work another incomplete single crochet. Try to ensure there are no gaps here. Finally, yarn over and draw through all the loops once. The normal single crochet decrease is completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. Finish with a slip stitch. You can see that there are no gaps along the seam. This completes the 9th round. The two legs are now connected. The starting point is roughly in line. Continue with the 10th round. Refer to the chart and work the corresponding stitch techniques. Here, I'll demonstrate the invisible single crochet decrease technique. Let's take a look. The stitch consists of these two strands of yarn. The one closer to the right side is the front loop. The other one is the back loop. First, insert your hook into the front loop of the left single crochet stitch. Then, insert your hook into the front loop of the adjacent single crochet stitch. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Place your hook above the yarn. Draw the yarn through the first 2 loops on your hook. You will have 2 loops remaining. Yarn over again, and draw through once. The invisible single crochet decrease is completed. This method of picking up only the front loops for a decrease is called an invisible decrease. Using this technique for crocheting, the gaps between stitches are smaller. The fabric overall is more delicate. Continue crocheting while referring to the pattern chart. Finish with one more invisible single crochet decrease. Hook through the front loops of the next two adjacent stitches on the left side. Draw the yarn through the first two loops. Yarn over and draw through once. The invisible single crochet decrease is completed. Finish with a slip stitch. The 10th round is complete. Continue crocheting according to the chart. When you see even, it means to work into each stitch without increasing or decreasing. When you have a few rounds left, start stuffing. Fluff up the stuffing and stuff it into the fabric. Try to stuff it evenly and firmly. Keep it somewhat soft. Everyone finish it. Stuff as you go for the last few rounds. Leave a 15 cm yarn tail for closing the opening. For the specific closing method, please refer to the video demonstration below. Note that only the method is demonstrated. The fabric is not for reference. Please watch the demonstration. After completing the final round, now, break the yarn. Pull a large loop and leave a 15 cm yarn tail, then cut the yarn. For the last round, you can work it slightly looser. Thread the yarn tail through a darning needle. Pick up the front loops of the last round stitches one by one and pass through them. After threading halfway, pull to tighten. Pay attention to pulling gently. Continue threading through the remaining front loops. Slightly tighten. Be careful not to pull too hard. Thread the excess tail through adjacent stitches a few times. Insert the needle from the center of the closing. Exit the needle at any position. Pull the yarn gently. Press the closing area to lay it flat. Thread the excess tail through the fabric a few more times to hide it. Trim the excess tail. The closing is now completed. That completes the explanation of the main part. Next, we'll learn about the sleeves. There are two. Both use the magic ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Finally, stuff them, and sew them to the corresponding positions on the main part. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a foundation chain. The table indicates ring cast on. This means the foundation method is the magic ring. Begin with an adjustable magic ring. Hang the yarn tail on your left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Place it below the yarn. Wrap the yarn around once. Form a loop on the hook. Use your left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Make sure the loop is large enough. Then draw the yarn through. Hook a chain stitch to secure. Continue pinching the loop. Keep it the same size. This completes the adjustable magic ring. Move on to the first round. Work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. After that, close the magic ring. Pull the yarn tail. Tighten the center of the piece. Try to pull it as tight as possible. Then finish with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. If you do not know where the very first stitch is, count the stitches from back to front. This completes the first round. Continue to the second round. Refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. As you crochet, pay attention to placing the yarn tail on the hook, and weave it in together. Finish with a slip stitch. This completes the second round. You can trim the excess tail of the starting chain. Continue crocheting in rounds for the subsequent rounds. Make sure the right side faces out. After completing, leave a 30 cm tail, and fasten off the yarn. Stuff the fabric with an appropriate amount of stuffing. If it's difficult to stuff, you can use the hook handle to assist. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete it. Finally, sew the arms onto the side of the main body, between the 32nd and 33rd rounds of the body. Please watch me demonstrate the specific sewing method. Now I will demonstrate the arm sewing using a small sample. Thread the yarn tail through the sewing needle. Place it at the corresponding position on the main body. For the small sample, the position is random. I'm only demonstrating the method. Press the area where the yarn tail is located flat. Make sure the side with the slip stitch marks faces down. Pick up the gap between two rows and whip stitch. When inserting the needle, make sure to sew through both the front and back loops. Pay attention to pulling tight. Secure it firmly, tie a knot, and weave in the ends. That's it for the arms. Next, we'll learn about the facial features, including the mouth, nose, eyes, eyebrows, blush, and ears. Let's start with the mouth. The nose is divided into two parts, crocheting and embroidering. We will start the mouth from the foundation chain, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. The technique is similar to how we started the legs. Everyone, refer to the pattern to complete it. Finally, leave a 15 cm yarn tail and fasten off. Please watch the demonstration for the specific method. Here, I will demonstrate using a small sample. Directly stretch the loop. Leave a 15 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Thread the needle. Insert the hook into the second stitch from the left of the slip stitch position. Then go back to the chain where the yarn tail is located, and pass it to the wrong side. Adjust it a bit. This way, the slip stitch marks won't be visible on the surface. The texture will look more beautiful. Tuck the yarn tail along the texture on the wrong side. That's how you finish off. Next, I will demonstrate the embroidery part. Take the yarn corresponding to the nose. Thread 2 strands through the sewing needle, on the side where the mouthpiece starts, between the middle insertion point of the third to last round, and the insertion point of the last round. Embroider a fan shape. Pay attention to filling in the gap above. You can also adjust the specific width of the nose, according to your preference. Embroider the top edge as well. Then, embroider a line segment below the middle. Finally, tie a knot on the wrong side, and weave in the ends. This completes the embroidery section. Lastly, sew the pieces together. Take the yarn as before, and place the embroidered nose piece on the side of the main piece without the slip stitch marks, centered above the 33rd round of the body. Sew along the last round of stitches, attaching it to the main piece. Please refer to the demonstration for the specific method. Here, I'll demonstrate using a small sample. First, secure the yarn on the wrong side. Then, place it in the corresponding position. Pick up the stitches and sew them down. Pay attention to adjusting the position as you sew, to prevent it from being sewn crooked. Finally, tie a knot and weave in the ends. This completes the sewing of the fabric piece. Next, we'll learn about the eyes. Take the yarn as you did for the nose. Embroider the eyes vertically above the mouth on both sides. They should occupy 2 rounds. Leave an interval of about 3 stitches, sew a few times to secure them. The eyebrows are positioned 2 rounds above the eyes. Leave an interval of 6 stitches in the middle. Embroider symmetrical eyebrows in the shape of an 8. The specific expression can be adjusted according to your preference. There are 2 blush spots. We will start from foundation chain for each. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Leave a 10 cm tail and fasten off. The method is the same as the one used for the final fastening off of the mouth. The new stitch technique used is the T-half double crochet. Please refer to the demonstration for the specific crochet method. Half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the left stitch. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Draw through all 3 loops on the hook. 1 half double crochet is complete. This is the method for crocheting a half double crochet. After the blush is crocheted, it should be on the right side. Use the thread for embroidering the eyes to sew 2 diagonal line segments, one long and one short. Pay attention to maintaining symmetry on both sides. After completing, on either side of the mouth, at a distance of about 0.5 cm, attach and secure it to the main piece. That's how you do the eyes, eyebrows, and blush. Next, let's learn how to make the ears. There are 2 ears in total. They are divided into the inner ear and the outer ear. The inner ear is sewn from fabric. The outer ear starts with a foundation chain. Then crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the starting chain. The new stitches used are double crochet and double crochet increase. When crocheting the second round, pay attention to the short stitches and chain stitches at the tip. Insert the hook into the chain space. At the end, join with a slip stitch at the top of the 2 chain stitches. Finally, leave a 20 cm tail for sewing. Refer to the chart to complete it. For the new stitch technique, watch the demonstration. Double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the left stitch. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over. Draw through the first 2 loops. You now have 2 loops remaining. Yarn over again. Draw through the remaining 2 loops. 1 double crochet is now complete. That's the technique for double crochet. Double crochet increase means working 2 double crochets into the same stitch. One. 2. 1 double crochet increase is now complete. As you can see, 2 double crochets are worked into the same stitch. That's the technique for double crochet increase. Next, we'll make the inner ear. Take out the pattern. Cut out the fabric according to the inner ear pattern. After that, take out the yarn for embroidering the nose. Pull 1 strand through the sewing needle. Tie a knot at the end of the yarn. For all subsequent sewing, follow this method of threading the yarn. I won't repeat this in the future. When sewing, place the tip of the inner ear close to the end where you cut the yarn. Leave some distance at the top. For the specific sewing method, refer to the video demonstration below. You can also adjust according to your preference. Please watch the demonstration. Place the fabric with the right side facing out. Fold about 0.5 centimeter inward. Try to stick it close to the right side of the fabric. Pay attention to leaving space at the bottom edge for sewing. Fold the top edge inward as well. Stick it close to the inside of the right side of the fabric. Sew it together with the fabric piece. Adjust the edges as you sew. Make sure the shape sticks close. Try to keep the stitches consistent. When done, tie off and weave in the ends. This completes one inner ear. Finally, position the inner ear forward. Sew it to the last 3-4 rounds on the sides of the body. Use the remaining yarn to pick up, and sew the base of the ear to the body. There are no specific requirements for the sewing method, just make sure it is securely fastened. The ears should stand up. Here, you can bend one ear forward. Secure it with a few stitches using the yarn. Create the shape. Everyone, complete this step. Up to this point, we have covered the facial features. Next, let's learn how to make the tail. Start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Add stuffing as you crochet. Finally, leave a 30 centimeter yarn tail, and break the yarn for sewing. The crochet technique is similar to that of the arm. Everyone, refer to the pattern and complete it. That concludes the explanation of the tail's crochet method. Finally, let's learn about the decorations. This includes the bow, the clothes, the pockets, the brooch, and the paw pads. First, let's learn how to make the bow. It consists of the main part and the middle band. The main part starts with a foundation chain. Work back and forth. Finish by crocheting the edging. After completing each part, attach them to the corresponding positions on the main piece. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a foundation chain. From the second stitch from your hook, work single crochets. Complete the first row. Continue with the second row. Chain 1 to begin. Turn means to turn the work over. Turn the piece counterclockwise. Pick up the stitches and work single crochets evenly. Note that on the wrong side, the stitches are on the upper left. Complete the second row. Follow the same crochet method for the subsequent rows. After completing, I will demonstrate how to crochet the edging. Chain 1 to begin. Turn the work, pick up the stitches and work single crochets evenly. When you reach the corner, work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. At the side position, pick up the chain spaces between rows and work single crochets correspondingly. Pay attention to increasing stitches at the corners where you started. Then work single crochets evenly. Follow this method to complete the entire round. Finally, work 2 single crochets at the starting point. Finish with a slip stitch. Fasten off and finish the last stitch. We will use the side with the clearer texture as the right side. Tuck in the yarn tails on the wrong side. This completes the main piece. For the middle band, we will start from the foundation chain. Work back and forth. Leave a 30 cm tail at the end and break the yarn. Complete this part. Here, the sample swatch is already completed. Thread the long yarn tail onto a darning needle. Now let's assemble. Place the main piece with the right side facing up. Fold it into a bow shape. Bind the middle band with the right side, facing up in the center of the main piece. Sew the beginning and ending together. You can also sew the main piece together. After completing, secure it underneath the ears. The exact position is up to your preference. There are no specific requirements for the sewing method, just make sure it is securely fastened. Everyone, complete it. That concludes the bow tutorial. Next, let's learn how to make the dress. It consists of the main body and the straps. The main body starts with a chain ring method. First, crochet back and forth in rounds. Then, crochet back and forth. Finally, sew the straps. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a chain stitch. The small sample is already started here. The number of stitches is relatively small. For the exact number of stitches, please refer to the chart. Then, slip stitch into the first chain stitch. Pay attention to not twisting the chain braid. You can fold the chain in half, with the right side facing you. Pick up the first chain stitch from the wrong side and slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the chain ring method. Then work the first round. Start with one chain stitch. Slip stitch into the insertion point below and make one single crochet. Continue picking up the back loop of the chain. This is how you carry the yarn. Correspondingly make single crochets. Work the entire round. After completing, check the number of stitches. Finally, slip stitch. This completes the first round. We will use the side with the clearer texture as the right side. You can try it on the main piece to fit well. If it's too big or too small, you need to adjust your tension and crochet again. Move on to the second round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet, 1 chain stitch for transition. Then make 1 double crochet in the third stitch from the hook in the first round. Pay attention to wrap the turning chain together. You can enlarge the loop. After completing it, it will form a crossing effect. We will treat the crocheted stitches as one crossing cluster. Continue and make another crossing cluster. Skip 2 stitches to the left and make 1 double crochet. One chain stitch. Then, in the spot to the right of the previous insertion position, skip 1 stitch and make 1 double crochet. Pay attention to enlarging the loop. 1 crossing cluster is done. You can see, 1 cluster corresponds to 3 stitches. Continue and make another cluster. Crochet the entire round using this method. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the starting crossing cluster hole. The second round is complete. Continue with the third round. This round is crocheted on the wrong side. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain, 1 chain stitch for transition. Turn the work. Crochet 1 double crochet into the chain space of the right side cluster. Continue to the left. Make one crossing cluster in the adjacent 2 cluster holes. Pay attention to the joining position when crocheting. You can slightly wrap the turning chain. Continue and make another cluster. Crochet the entire round using this method. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the starting cluster chain space. The third round is complete. Move on to the fourth round. Work this round on the right side. Start with a chain. Turn the work. Crochet a double crochet into the chain space on the right side. Continue to crochet the clusters to the left. Finish with a slip stitch. The fourth round is complete. For the following rounds, follow the crochet techniques used in rounds 3 and 4. Now I'll demonstrate the last 2 rows. The second to last row continues on the wrong side. Crochet the corresponding number of clusters. In this sample, the number of clusters is random. Then crochet the final row. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the work, then refer to the chart and crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Secure the yarn tail on the wrong side. That concludes the main part. Next, we'll make the shoulder straps. Cut out 2 pieces of blue fabric according to the pattern. For the fabric pattern, you can choose the direction based on your preference. Here, I'll demonstrate with a small sample. Divide the fabric into 3 equal vertical sections. Fold it. Press it as neatly as possible. Make sure the edges don't show the fabric's edge. Sew along the edge of the opening. Take out the yarn used for crocheting the mouth. Thread a strand through the sewing needle. Tie a knot at the end of the yarn. Sew back and forth along the edge. Make sure to sew this side in as well. Try to keep the stitches on the right side short and neat. Everyone should follow this method to sew this edge. Finally, tie a knot and cut the yarn. After completing the shoulder strap, attach it to the garment. Let me explain the method briefly here. Fold one end slightly. Secure it at the corner of the last row on the garment. Then, attach a button on the right side to cover the seam. Fix the other end at the corresponding position on the wrong side. You can try on the garment to ensure the position is correct before securing it. Pay attention to sewing it on the inside of the garment. Secure the other shoulder strap symmetrically. Similarly, secure the button. Everyone, complete this step. That's it for the garment. Next, we'll make the pocket. Cut the blue striped fabric according to the pattern. Secure it in the center of the front of the garment. Note that you should take the same thread as the shoulder strap. Fold the edges inward by about 0.5 cm. Sew along the edges. Leave the top edge unsewn. When sewing here, you can take the garment off for easier sewing. It makes it more convenient. Everyone, complete this step. Then, add a little stuffing inside the pocket. Attach small clay flowers at the pocket opening. Arrange them according to your preference. Everyone, complete this step. Finally, sew the tail at the center lower back of the garment. Use the reserved yarn to sew and secure it firmly. Everyone, complete this step. That's it for the pocket and chest flower. Finally, make the paw pads. Use purple fabric here. Cut out the corresponding paw pads according to the pattern. You need 2 large paw pads for the palms, and 6 small paw pads, 2 large paw pads for the soles, and 6 small paw pads for the small paw pads. You can cut them directly from the inner circle of the pattern. Attach them directly to the corresponding positions. Cut the large paw pads according to the outer edge. Leave a seam allowance. Sew them in the middle of the small paw pads. The sewing method is similar to that of the inner ears. It's just a bit more difficult to sew on the main piece. You'll need some patience. Adjust the seam allowance as you sew. Try to fold it smoothly and neatly. Refer to the previous demonstration. Secure the paw pads according to the layout of the finished product. Up to this point, the entire toy has been explained. If you have any unclear points during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.